So I saw Obsession last week during my trip, and I have to say, it might be one of the best movies this year so far. And if not, it's definitely one of the best horror films, not just this year, but as of the past, like recent few years. This movie was generally just a lot to like take in. So we're just gonna talk about like the short, like I'll give you a short summarization of like the production and the reception, and then I'm gonna dive into like the little plot. Of course, there is gonna be a little bit of spoilers though for those who have not watched it. But if you like to hear from me, Zell Sharm, then that's all fine by me. So which I didn't know was that this movie was produced by a 26-year-old YouTuber. I can't remember his name. I probably should have remembered his name because I am giving this movie some praise. But oh my God, the way he was cooking up is phenomenal. Same thing I heard about the Backrooms, that I had a 20-year-old director. I really love to see that, the industry is really showing how these young creators can really just pop off on shit, and it's really happy to see. They just get younger by the day, bro, and it shows talent. It shows how much open the industry can be. But yeah, it's the first movie in like a generation to have a less than $1 million budget to make like over like 10 million. I think that's what it was. I think even more than 10 million, probably like 20 to 100 million. I could be fucking wrong, but the fact that it surpassed Star Wars, which is like just a multimedia franchise, is crazy. Now, obviously, ever since Disney bought Star Wars, see, I'm not into Star Wars, into that myself, but I heard there's a lot of things that's happened, post Disney, and maybe it's kind of killing the franchise, kind of not. But just the fact that a movie that was filmed in less than a month has surpassed just a franchise as big as Star Wars is insane, and it deserves it, because this movie Obsession is crazy. Now, of course, if anybody is new here, you may not know that I work as an assistant manager at a movie theater. Now, I didn't really see a lot of promotion for Obsession, so obviously I knew it was like kind of like an indie horror film, right? So obviously, like I do watch movies. I don't think I ever saw previews like before the movie starts and stuff like that. Whenever I watch movies, there wasn't much going on, you feel me? And the first week that it dropped, it was all right. Like, the numbers, that it was all right. Not many people was coming in, but it wasn't like nobody was coming in. It was all right. But the next weekend though, my nigga, the numbers just went up, bro. They was adding showtimes after showtimes. This movie popped off on the second week, and I'm pretty sure that's even a thing too. Like, check the article. I'm pretty sure this movie has done even better the second week in the box office than it did in the first. And it's funny because it literally killed Passengers. I thought I wanted to watch Passengers until I heard about how good Obsession was, and then I found out that Passengers is generally just trash. So like, this movie accidentally killed another horror movie that was dropping recently, just completely shitted on them, which is insane to even think about, because the movie's generally good, and like it just does things that you don't really see from other horror movies. Now, of course, I gotta give praise to the creator of this film, the director, and I even read somewhere that he just got like a $10 million offer to work on the next horror film. I think it's like a Bust Something, like Something Busters. I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna just wait until trailers and all that stuff drops. I usually try to block announcements, because like I try to block early ass announcements, because it could take like 4 years to make that shit, and it's just like, why even do that here? So if you know what I'm saying. That's the thing about video games. I hate that, but that's a story for another time. All right, so let's get into Obsession. So we're going to talk about the protagonist, whose name is Baron, or the movie likes to call him, like, his nickname is Bear. I'm pretty sure his actual name is Baron, but Bear is the nickname that's given to him. And let's just clear this out the way. I've been reading like stuff about what the director has been saying about it. No, his name's not Bear because of the fucking man versus bear fucking stupid ass controversy. No, his name is just Bear because it just was something that wanted to be a name that like stand out, something like that. But it has nothing to do with that whole man versus bear shit. That's like one of the most dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, that's just people looking for attention. I don't want to hear that shit again. So the thing about Bear is, at least from what I could pick up from the movie, is that he's still pretty new to the area. At least what it sounds like. The movie would start off with him kind of like reciting to this let's say a cafe worker that he's trying to propose to this girl named Nikki. He really likes Nikki, and from the way he's been talking about it, he was just like, oh yeah, ever since I moved here, nobody's been treating me like you have. So he's pretty much like still new around things, and he has a man's named Ian. Ian is his fat best friend, and you know, Ian's basically hyping him up to try and get with Nikki. And you know what? It's just like, okay, that's cool and all. But the problem with Bear is just that Bear doesn't really have that confidence. Bear is kind of a pussy punk bitch. So, you know, he can't really muster up these words trying to tell how he feels about Nikki. And, you know, a couple minutes later, it's going to cut to a bar scene. You know, all four of them are hanging out. So it's Bear, Nikki, Ian, and another girl named Sarah. Little does Well, I'm pretty sure he is aware, like, later on, but Sarah has a crush on Bear, but Bear just chooses to block that out because he likes Nikki, right? And, ooh, yeah, that's right. Nikki's on a call with Bear, and, you know, talking about how Nikki wants to leave, like, this music store that they work at. And first of all, I just want to get this clear, right? All four of them, the whole friend group, works at a music store, a small ass music store. They'd be four of them clocked in at the same time. The four niggas working at a music store is insane. Like, when I saw that, I was just like, nigga, luxury malls don't even got two niggas on shit. What the fuck is this small ass he's doing with four? But fuck that, right? She says he's about to leave and all that stuff, and Bear's kind of sad, so that's kind of what helps him build the courage to talk to Nikki about his feelings, to maybe try and change the things, which, you know, it's understandable, right? And then Nikki drops her necklace down the drain. It was like a crystal thing. So Bear is just like, oh man, maybe I can like score. I'm gonna go to the crystal store and get her another crystal necklace just to be a nice guy, right? And you know, he does go to the crystal store, and instead of buying a necklace, he comes across a thing called a one wish willow. He just thinks it's some bullshit voodoo magic, but he buys it anyway. And you know, now we head forward to the bar scene. Ian and Sarah wants to do karaoke, but Nikki doesn't want to do all that, so you know, she has Bear drop her off home. And you know, just their conversation is clearly a little bit awkward, and like, it eventually leads to Bear calling her Freaky Nikki, which is something that she doesn't like being called. That's something like that's like a joke Ian made, and that kind of made her upset. And then she kind of presses him. It's just like, do you like me, Bear? Do you like me, Bear? But Bear is so pussy. He says no. But Nikki looks a little bit sad, and she says, okay, good. Now, here's the thing. Some people are saying that Nikki never really liked Bear. Some people are saying that Nikki kind of liked Bear and was willing to give him a chance. Because here's one thing that I see people kind of tend to miss, is that the fact that Nikki even said, like, literally 5 minutes prior, was that if she likes someone, she doesn't tell anybody. It'll be, like, hard to tell. And when Bear said no, at least to me, she looked kind of upset, and the way she said, like, okay, good, as if she's trying to just like cope with it, like she's trying to just be like fuck, and then trying to like thug it out. Like, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like she generally would have given Bear a chance. That's what I think. But obviously, with Bear being pussy and her trying to keep her feelings to herself, you know, it just led to a whole mess of things. That's honestly how I've seen it. So I always thought that Nikki would have given him a chance, but Bear was too pussy to really go through with that. So she goes inside, and Bear's mad at himself. He's mad at the world, and he grabs the one wish willow and snaps it, wishing that Nikki will love him more than anybody else in the world. And you know, little does he know, it actually did work. You know, and he sees Nikki just immediately outside the door, so that shit takes effects, and he sees this and he processes it like, holy shit, that shit actually works. And that's when all the bad shit comes, because now she is developed like an alter ego thing. I don't want to say possessed, I don't want to say she's haunted or anything, because the director himself said that that's not the case. There's not an evil entity taking over, or she's not being possessed. It's just like an alter ego thing or something like that, which I don't know how to feel about it, but I think it could go either way, because one scary thing about it is the fact that Nikki would just like snap out of it sometimes, even if it's for like just a second, and you'll see that throughout the movie. It's genuinely like some scary ass shit. And you know, Bear is just like disgusted, because Nikki would show him the love that he wanted, but sometimes she'll just be like too crazy about it. But he's forcing her to act normal, but he chooses to just like acknowledge that, like, I don't think he wants to admit that what he did was wrong, but he still wants to see whatever he can to control the situation. When he feels like he had too much to deal with Nikki, he calls the phone that's on the back of the One Wish Willow, and he's just like, I would like to alter a wish instead of just like canceling it. He wants to alter the wish because he still wants to have control of Nikki. He just doesn't want Nikki to be doing the weird shit that she already does. So it's just the fact that he still just wants to alter and not cancel it at all. It really speaks a lot and just shows how much of a fucking dickhead that Bear is. And, you know, like I said earlier, you'll see Nikki like switching behaviors and stuff like that. This could be her alter ego and her real self fighting like over control one another. I've seen like things like that. And, you know, she even comes up with like the lying shit saying like her father has cancer, stuff like that. But we all know these are just like lies and stuff like that for the alter ego to try and stay as close to Bear as much as possible. And it really makes her unhinged to like certain extents and shit like that. There's even one time where Bear was going to work and Nikki wasn't scheduled that day. And, you know, this is when she was already doing some weird shit. So Bear told her like, just stay home, just stay there, just don't do any weird shit. And she literally does stay there until the end of the shift, or like until he gets home. It's so bad that she pissed and shit on herself. And there's even I even saw it coming. They showed the scene with the shit on the floor. I was just like, what the fuck? This shit is insane, right? So he takes advantage of her. Hell, he even fucking raped her. I don't know how long they were together, but every time they had sex, you can see her face like literally like disassociating herself. You would think that even with the alter ego, she like, I don't know, like obviously it would be rape, right? Don't get me wrong, but you would think that with the alter ego still would engage with it, but no, like you see like the real Nikki just still there, just disassociating, just like blank face, everything. It's generally fucking fucked up. It's so like it was so disgusting to see. And like he just anytime he just gets his willy wet, like he acknowledges the shit that's weird, but anytime there's an opportunity to get his willy wet, he just allows that behavior to happen. It's so disgusting, right? So obviously Ian and Sarah find this very weird, right? And it'll cut later on to the movie where you'll see that Sarah would like to talk to Bear, but when Bear is about to leave the house, this is late at night, when Bear is about to leave the house, Nikki, the real Nikki, is talking to Bear. But the thing is, this is like one of the instances where like the real Nikki like talks and stuff like that. You can see that Nikki's sleeping, clearly sleeping, but she's still talking even without her mouth moving. It's so scary, but Nikki is just begging for Bear to just end her life just then and there, so that the alter ego Nikki just wouldn't do like that weird shit. So it goes to show, I'm not entirely sure if she was fully conscious throughout the whole thing. She was just like, she couldn't control her whole body. I'm not exactly sure how it is. I would like to believe that she was conscious throughout the whole thing, which would just make it even more terrifying. But Bear chooses not to do anything, and he asked the fucking dumbest question, what's so wrong about being with me? And she says she was never with him, because that's true. She never consented to being with Bear. It was just the alter ego, and Bear just been taking advantage of that. And he knows he's not with the real Nikki. And he's asking, what's wrong with being with me? Like, nigga, clearly what you've done is clearly the fucking reason, dumbass nigga. So he goes to talk to Sarah outside, trying not to wake up the fake Nikki. And, you know, Sarah and Ian has been talking, and apparently they think that Nikki's doing what she's been doing, because they don't know that Nikki is like changed. They don't think she's been possessed or anything. They generally think that Nikki has been trying to get back at Ian, because Ian and Nikki for the past 2 years has been having like a casual fuck buddy relationship. And the thing about that is people wanted to see if Ian is the true villain of this whole story, right? Now, to get this straight, Bear is the true villain, right? But clearly, I would want to say that basically the entire friend group has been enabling. Like, they basically enabled this action to happen, and it just didn't go out. Because I do find it crazy that Ian would like just tell his, what I would think is his best friend, to go get with this girl that he's been fucking for the past 2 years. I think if you're going to put your friend onto a girl that you've been fucking, you would have to tell them, right? Or something would have to be said, because depending on the person, and now that we see the kind of person that Bear is, I feel like it would be best if he knew that information a while ago. Because let's say even if he was to get with Nikki, right, like actually consensually, like how do you think Ian Bear would have felt with that, that situation? It's really just like a whole slew of complicated things. But the fact that a lot of things was kept like behind Bear's back, and it was weird. I felt like if Ian would have just been honest with the intentions and stuff like that, I also feel like Bear would not have pursued her in that way. I don't know. I think Ian is just as weird. Sarah, I don't know how long Sarah has known that. I don't think that was really said, but I would like to believe that she probably knew after the whole relationship was made, because once again, Ian and Sarah were talking about, whoa, why is Nikki doing all this weird shit? And that's probably when it got brought up. So that's my speculation. I just can't remember that specific part to the best of my ability. And obviously, like, here's the thing, like, even with all that, like, Bear even starts feeling on Sarah. So even the fact that she has a whole girl that he's been taking control over, he's still basically about to cheat on that girl. It is crazy how much of a lunatic dickhead this nigga Bear is. He's insane. He's actually insane. And Nikki pulls up and fucking bashes Sarah's head, and it's just a fucking sad scene. I low-key like Sarah. I really did like Sarah in the movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. And of course, later on, you would see that Nikki has taken on Sarah's appearance. She's wearing her dress. She even has done fake tattoos, because I'm assuming what's it called? Like, I guess they're like Ian and not Ian, Bear and Nikki are connected in a way. So basically from throughout that connection, Bear was feeling Sarah, and that's why Nikki put on Sarah's clothes and did the fake tattoos to make sure that Bear could love like Sarah that's in Nikki, I guess. I don't know how to say it. It's so weird. It's just, oh my god. I do recommend you guys watch it. And Bear, after the Sarah, Bear did buy another One Wish Willow. Little did he know that it only works for one person. So even if he bought another Willow thingy, he cannot make a wish. He's not able to break it. So he gives it to Ian. He tries to explain the situation. He was just like, I wish for $1 billion. And that because he didn't believe it. And then he believes it when the money came. And then he just got him fucking crying. And, and then fucking Ian comes back to the house. He's just like, yo, Bear, what's going on, bro? I believe you now. And he gets fucking popped by Nikki. That shit was funny. That shit was the most random thing. I don't know if it's because it was like late and I was already tired, but I think Ian has mentioned saying that he had like a gun in his house or something like that. So Nikki might have stole it, because I was just watching it and then boom, Nikki just popped him. I was just like, where the fuck did the gun come from? I guess I just didn't remember. I talked to my friends about it. Apparently, like, Ian just had a gun in his house or whatever, and Nikki just like stole that shit. So I guess whatever. It was just random. That was just fucking random. Alright, that shit had like zero fucking build up like it did with Sarah. He just got his ass popped. Alright. And when Bear was talking to the niggas on the phone about altering or canceling the wish, the only way to really cancel the wish is if you were dead. So, after the death of Ian, Bear decides to pop these pills, right? But we all know that this is not for anybody else. This is basically he's only killing himself for himself. If he really cared about his folks around him, he probably would have popped pills like a long time ago or something like that. But, he only did it just to basically free himself of what's happening, not to really free Nikki. And, he pops it, but right as before he makes himself throw up because he's a pussy, he can't really go through with shit. Nikki also has herself a one wish willow thing and snaps it herself to make Bear love her as much as she loved him. But little does he know, this nigga is already basically fucking ODing and shit like that. He has an overdose and dies of an overdose, and it makes Nikki snap out of it. And now she sees the corpse of her 3 friends all around her. And to be honest with you, she's probably going to get locked up or put in a psych ward, because I don't think there's going to be anything in this world to basically make her seem innocent in this situation. I just don't think anything could help her. So and it sucks because this man Bear has taken control over a girl and basically left her traumatized with nothing. That's what it was, making Bear just a irredeemable piece of shit human being. And you know, obviously Nikki is the victim, and I feel so bad for Nikki and shit. And you know, I just walked out of that movie theater and I was just like, wow, this is a movie for the ages. This was definitely a great film, and especially Nikki's actress, she deserves all the fucking praise. She did insanely well. And the fact that the actress doesn't even like horror movies or stuff, like she just really finds them scary. The fact that she could just do that shit herself, phenomenal. Also, shit. I also see, by the way, shit, the way she was looking at the camera sometimes, shit, bro, you gotta chill, bro. But other than that, I'm giving this movie, I want to give this shit a 10 out of 10. This shit was a great movie, and any horror movie lovers out there, I do recommend you guys watch that movie. It was great. Obviously, there's not going to be a sequel, and it doesn't need a sequel, okay? Let the director make another separate movie, right? This was a perfect story. All right. Obviously, there are still some bullshit instances that probably really did not need to happen. Like, of course, every piece of media is gonna have something like that. That's just how it goes. There's always gonna be some kind of oversight. Okay, so you know, I try to, as long as it's not something that really hurts the story, I kind of try and ignore it. You feel me? It's just something that I can just poke fun at. You know what I'm saying? So there's really nothing here that really hurts the story, that hurts the narrative, hurts the scene. So every little mistake or oversight, it's just something I can just poke fun at. But I'm not gonna use it to judge the movie or judge the direction of the movie. I'm not gonna be like that, because it happens to everything at this point. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say for this movie. It's definitely a great movie. I wish I could have watched it sooner, because damn, these movie theaters was getting packed. Trying to find good seats was not hard. It was not easy. Okay, trying to find good seats was not easy, but it's gonna be busy as hell. So just hope that if you guys really want to watch that movie, you better get yourself some damn good seats. Anyway, y'all just a damn good one.